Hello everybody and welcome to the Full Potential Show. I'm James Rick. This is your #1 non-boring source for personal development. Today on the line we have Julie Henderson. She's the author of Expect Success, Be Unstoppable, a woman's secret recipe. Men, you can borrow this recipe as well. Julie is a speaker, certified coach, mentor, business strategist. Julie motivates, inspires, and empowers entrepreneurs, particularly women, to achieve the success in business and life they deserve. She is the founder and CEO of Expect Success, Be Unstoppable. Now, Julie's message really is how to turn experiences, any experience, into a positive instead of feeling stuck or a victim of circumstance. And this message comes from her own experience having a near head-on accident that left her wheelchair bound for a while, and she bounced back, and she's here to share with us the lessons she learned during that time into a wonderful metaphor. Julie, thank you so much for being on today's Full Potential Show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. And I just want to dive in a little bit. I mean, obviously we know where sort of the inspiration for this book came from, but tell me what it was like before the accident occurred and what life sort of turned into after the accident and after you learned some of the lessons that you did.
Yeah, well, at the time I was a young woman. I was only 23 years old, and I had been visiting my sister and returning home from that visit. And it was a horribly dusty day, and not a cloud in the sky. And I could see a bellow of dust approaching me, and that was the last thing that I remember.
What was it that approached you?
It was a vehicle. All I could see was just a bellow of dust. It was so dusty.
Okay.
And I couldn't see. I knew that there was a vehicle approaching me, but that was the last thing I saw. So what happened is I had a head-on car collision, and I would lay in the ditch for several hours. It was actually 6 hours before I got to the hospital. And the people that, the guys that had hit me, they actually took off too. And so I just left there for several hours, and I felt like I was hanging on like that last little leaf that you see in the fall, just hanging on for dear life, and you know, praying that I was going to be okay.
So, these guys hit you, and then they drove off, and you're left in a ditch for 6 hours until somebody just stumbles upon you there.
Well, I had to get out of the vehicle, and so I got out of the with the help of the vehicle. I didn't know that I had broken my left foot. I could see the bones sticking out of my right foot, and there was blood all over me when I came to, so I knew it was a horrific accident, and all I wanted to do get out. And they were there helping me. I just wanted to get out, so they were at the door. I got into the ditch. After that, there was some people that came around, but they took off and left me there.
They helped you out, but then they took off?
Yeah, and then they took off.
Oh.
Yeah, and so I did was end up coming to it was a very long wait. There was wildlife, there was all sorts of things, challenges, weeds. I didn't know what was next, but I just was very fortunate that help did arrive eventually. And what I really learned after that, I was flown to a university hospital for emergency. I don't remember the flight there. I was in intensive care. I had 5 operations. It was about 3 to 5 days after I was released. And what I really want to share about this lesson that I learned is the first day that I was allowed to get out of the hospital, my intensive care was transferred to the medical ward. And if you know anything about hospitals and medical wards, there's a bunch of old people there. And I was in my wheelchair and in my cast, and I looked like I was black and blue from head to foot. I was able to be released from my room and entered the lounge where there was other people, and I could go and be free to leave my room. And so I plowed through these big, wide doors, and with a wheelchair, my feet plowing through, and all I could see in front of me was these 2 really old guys, and they just looked at me and they laughed. And they didn't really look much different than me. I was black and blue from head to toe. But what was the same is that I was missing teeth, and the only difference really was that they were old. And in their eyes, I did look really funny. And at that moment, I realized that I had a choice, that either I could be mad at them and think that, oh, they're just, who do they think they are, laughing at me? They have no idea what happened. And it could have been something terrible. But it turned out that I looked at that situation and thought that in their eyes it did look funny. And so it was that moment that I had a choice. If I wanted to be positive, I didn't have to be a victim. I could say, I did survive that accident. I was fine. And that was really a life-altering experience, no question. But the lesson from that really did shape my life about attitude and how we do get to choose how we respond to our circumstances.
And I think you've compacted it into a very, very relevant metaphor. It's called CARS. And the 4 steps basically to flipping your perspective from, I guess, more of a victim mentality to this more positive and empowering perspective. And I'd like to go through that with you. So, the first one you've touched on, which is choice. You always have a choice, no matter what your circumstances. You always have a choice in how you're going to interpret that circumstance, and if you're going to let it be a negative or a positive in your life. I think that's so important. So that's number 1. Now let's go through the rest of the metaphor here. You've got ARS. What does A stand for?
Attitude. You always have a game. You can be positive or negative. So it doesn't matter what.
So you can choose your attitude, basically. C is your choice. A is first, what kind of attitude you bring to the party, positive or negative.
That's right.
Okay. And then responsibility is R, right?
Yes. Responsibility means taking responsibility for your circumstance. My story, also in my book, relates to a lot of experiences I've had as a young girl, as a young mom, a single mom, and just the choices that we make and how we think that it's other people's faults, and it's easy to blame other people for our choices. But when we actually take responsibility and stop blaming other people, we get our power back, and we get to manage that. So that's very powerful. And life becomes a lot easier when you feel like, gee, you're in charge and I can take charge of my life, rather than thinking that you're pointing everybody out. So if they're not standing the right way, or they're not holding their head the right way, whatever it is, it's all about them. But really, it's really about us.
Right, and it's that taking that responsibility, no matter what the situation is, you at the very least, you have to take responsibility for your perspective, the way you're looking at things, because you always have that choice in how you're going to look at things and what attitude you're going to bring to the mix. So you have to at least take responsibility for that. Absolutely.
And you can't change anybody else. The only person you can change is yourself, and that's really key because, again, when you realize you can work on yourself and work on your attitude, look at how you see things, be compassionate maybe in situations, considerate, not be quick to anger, and you don't know what other people are going through. And again, just really taking responsibility to say, well, how could I be different in this situation?
Mm-hmm. It's always responsibility in relation to the problem, in relation to the challenge, not saying, oh, but they did this. I mean, I have a good reason to be this way. No, you may have a good reason, but you have to take responsibility for choosing that reason and that response. So I like that very much. All right, let's talk about S. What does the S stand for?
The S is all about how your choices and your attitude and taking responsibility, they can shape your life, and it can become your story. And what you do in those situations, and turning your situations into something good. And with my experiences, all my experiences, whether it was my car accident and the challenges that I encountered because of broken bones and a lot of still chronic pain that I experienced, and it's still a choice in how I respond to it, and how it can become your story. And what happens to you, you can share with other people and help them, because I find that my book is all about my experiences. A lot of women will relate to them. So often I find women just feel stuck by their circumstances and get defined by their circumstances and think that they can't go on for their goals or dreams, that they have to just settle for where they are, live a mediocre life. They just stand by the sidelines and they don't get into the game of life, and they give up. And that's what really pains me to see that. And that was what really inspired me to write my book too, is to share all my experiences. It's not just one thing, but that your story can become your message that you can share to help other people and make a difference. And that's what I'm really passionate about.
I can see that, and it really is your choice, your attitude, your responsibility, and ultimately that's going to dictate your story. Julie, where can people grab a copy of your book?
My book is on Amazon, so they can just go to Amazon and they'll find it there.
ExpectSuccessBeUnstoppable.com. Can they find it there as well?
They can.
Okay.
The order button will take them right to Amazon.
Okay, beautiful. Expect success, be unstoppable, and I believe we've got a few little special gifts to give away today to first responders. What is the gift and how do they take advantage of that?
The gift is an audio plus a bonus, and they can go to www.womansuccesssecrets.com.
And can men use these secrets as well, Julie?
Absolutely. I've had quite a few men already purchase the book, and they have been able to read and learn from it too. There's a lot of exercises, notes, and exercises at the end of each chapter that you can work through. And absolutely, certainly, being a single mom is something but a dad or a guy can relate to. But I'm sure the experiences, maybe as a single dad, or even can truly relate to. So it's not limited.
Same principles apply. Cars is such a great metaphor for really taking control of your circumstance. You can pick up the book at womensuccesssecrets.com, and the freebie, oh no, that's the freebie, I'm sorry, womensuccesssecrets.com. We'll put that up on the screen and in the description, and the book can be picked up at expectsuccessbeunstoppable.com or on Amazon. Julie Henderson, thank you so much for being on today's Full Potential Show.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure having you on. Take care.
Well, that concludes this week's episode of the Full Potential Show, your #1 non-boring source for personal development. I'm James Rick, and if you want to get more positive programming for your brain absolutely free on a weekly basis, just visit fullpotential.com.
If you like the Full Potential Show, you're going to love the Full Potential Club. What would you like most as a Full Potential Club member? Be 2 to 3 times more productive? Do what you're passionate about? Have more energy? Reduce your work hours? Travel the world? Enjoy an amazing lifestyle on a frugal budget? What if you could do them all? James Rick has been there and done it in ways that few people have. For anyone serious about taking their life or business to the next level, you know you've got to do more than just watch. You've got to do. Join James Rick and other like-minded people for an incredible $10 a month at fullpotential.com/club. Be educated. Be empowered. Be the best version of you. fullpotential.com/club. Try it free for 30 days.